Kei is one of the best written characters in Classroom of the Elite, and it is not even close. But the only reason this isn't obvious is because the writing for season 1 and 2 and even 3 is so bad that it fundamentally changes what her character is. However, as Kei's strongest soldier, I have to explain the brilliance of this scene with her and Sato in season 4, because it's a textbook example of how you write 10 out of 10 character development, but it only makes sense when you add in the skipped content. By the way, if you want to see me react to all 4 episodes of the season, including the OP and ED, just go to patreon.com/Saadisfy. Kei first entered the advanced nurturing high school broken. The vicious bullying she received in middle school made her want to seek protection over anything else. She would sacrifice everything, even her closest friends, to keep herself safe. And often, people in desperate situations make desperate gambles. For Kei, that was reaching out to Hirata. She is smart, paying close attention to who was influential within Class D, wanting a host to quote-unquote latch onto, to use their influence to keep herself safe. And she not only noticed Hirata's popularity, but his desire for peace. That Hirata carried something within him that made him want to make everyone get along no matter what. So she begged him to become her fake boyfriend, revealing her past to him, and Hirata agreed. This was reckless because if she misjudged Hirata, he could have revealed her past to the entire school. Fortunately, that didn't happen. But unfortunately, there were ways Kei's plan would backfire that she wasn't even aware of. Because most of the girls in Class D were bullies, and to keep them in line, Kei had to become the queen of bullies. But this was not her. She hated every second of it. But again, she would sacrifice anything to keep herself safe. And her actions escalated day by day. And in the Zodiac exam, everything fell apart. The bullying she did before caught the attention of Manabe, and Ainakoji used this fact to set up a trap for Kei, leading her to her darkest moment, and he was able to bring her under his control. But what the anime did not cover was Ainakoji's motivation, because in his eyes, Kei would be the most useful to him when he could free her from her trauma. That was the key to unlocking her potential. You know how Horikita ruined Sudo, Yamauchi, and Ike's plan in the first season? Yeah, that wasn't her, that was Kei. She was the one who made Ainakoji's plans work. The cute moment where Ainakoji pulls Horikita into the pool? That was Kei. Because the weight of her scar was holding her back from enjoyable moments, and Ainakoji wanted to free her from that. However, even Ainakoji wasn't aware of the profound influence he would have on her. Because while having Kei carry out his plans was a plus for him, working with Ainakoji helped Kei regain the confidence she had lost. It helped her remember who she was before the bullying, and gave her space to be herself. Within Class D, she always had to keep up the act of being the queen. She had to bully others, put on a domineering front. But with Ainakoji, she could be herself. Step by step, Kei regained her self-esteem. She felt like the hero's right-hand woman, helping him from the shadows. There was this brilliant scene from the books that the anime completely cut out during the sports festival where Kei fought Ichinose. And during the competition, Kei realized that in the past, she wouldn't care at all about stuff like this, but now, she wants to win. And the reason is, because of Ainakoji, she was changing. And most importantly, she didn't hate that. But the event by far that pushed her over the edge was her confrontation with Ruin. Ruin broke Kei in the hopes of extracting the identity of the mastermind, and this gave Kei a difficult choice. She could give up Ainakoji, but that would mean switching her parasitic destination from him over to Ruin. Because just like Ainakoji, Ruin knew how she was bullied in the past and could use that to blackmail her. Or she could rely on Ainakoji's promise to save her. But when Ruin revealed that it was Ainakoji who set up the incident with Manabe, that promise felt hollow. So Kei decides to do neither. She won't rely on Ainakoji, but she won't give up his name either. But not for Ainakoji's sake. So many people get Kei's decision wrong here because the show cut out every single monologue. Inside Kei's mind was a raging battle between her past self that just wanted to fold and her new self that gained self-confidence that didn't want to be a parasite anymore. The real, undisputed reason she chose to not give up Ainakoji's name is because she no longer wanted to live as a parasite. She was no longer okay with sacrificing her self-worth to protect herself. This was the culmination of her arc from Volume 4 all the way to Volume 7. This isn't me making an inference, this isn't me reading between the lines, it is literally there in the books, word for word. She won't rely on Ainakoji to save her, and she won't rely on Ruin to free her. The only person she'd rely on going forward is herself. This was the growth Ainakoji inspired when she took part in his plans. When Kei mentioned she was saved, this is what she means. Ainakoji didn't save her from ruin, he did something much greater. He saved her from the prison of her own trauma. Another reason this scene is misunderstood is because it's a rare moment when Ainakoji is 100% wrong. Kei chose to no longer be a parasite even if her past is revealed. That's why she did not give out his name. But Ainakoji thinks it's because her parasitic bond is so strong that she didn't betray him. This is another scene where the anime not only fails, but it actually makes things worse. Because in the books, you get a crystal clear representation of how this happens. Two different point of view chapters to express the disconnect between them. Kei's POV to show the growth she underwent, and Ainakoji's POV to show how he perceived this growth and got it wrong. And the biggest mark of this growth is when Kei chooses to break up with Hirata because she wants to pursue genuine love. Again, another scene that the show completely cut out. Brother, what did we include? Kei no longer valued the status because she is no longer a parasite. But this is where we introduce Sato, who presents a new conflict for the new Kei. Because Sato reaches out to Kei wanting help with her love life. And Kei, after chatting with Sato, liked her and wanted to be her friend. Up till now, Kei only had fake friends. Kei wanted people around her with whom she could be herself. Problem was that Sato wanted help to get together with the guy that she now liked, Ainakoji. So Kei buried her feelings and helped Sato to the best of her abilities. The Kei from the past would convince Sato to give up so she could have Ainakoji's protection all to herself. However, the new Kei chose to give that up to make a genuine friend. But after Sato's rejection, lots of things happened with Kei getting closer to Ainakoji and the two start dating, which leads us into the confrontation between them in season 4. One of the things the show left out is that all the while they dated, Kei always felt guilty for doing it behind Sato's back. But as close as they were, Sato began suspecting Kei and Ainakoji's relationship. And even before the confrontation took place, Kei knew what was up. The show leaves out that during the confrontation, Kei reverts back to her mean and unwielding persona. It was an instinct, a defense mechanism, because she knew that there is a good chance after this confrontation, they're no longer gonna be friends. And Kei liked Sato and wanted to avoid that at all costs. But Sato fearlessly powered through her persona, questioning why she broke up with Hirata and if she was dating Ainakoji. Kei had a million excuses prepared, and worst case, she would overpower Sato with her overbearing persona. The Kei from the past wouldn't care what Sato had to say. She would do anything if it meant keeping herself safe. But after Kei's growth, Sato was the only one real friend she had. She felt bad for falling for the same guy she fell for. And even though Kei didn't admit it, the hesitation basically gave away that they were an item. But Kei also realized how earnest Sato was. It would have been easy for Sato to end their friendship without explanation. But Sato chose the difficult option to confront Kei, who had way more social capital than she had, because she cared. Even in the face of betrayal, she wanted to be her friend till the very end. Kei had finally found the genuine friendship she was always looking for. So Kei chose to go against the nature of her past, to meet her earnest request and tell her everything. At this point in the story, Sato is the only person in the entire school who knows Kei and Ainakoji are dating. Well, except for Ichika, but that's a whole other can of worms. And even after Sato slaps her, Kei offers the other cheek to make up for the pain Sato felt, which is about the most badass power of friendship moment that you can have. Kei would not run because for the new Kei, protecting herself was not more important than losing a genuine friend. And that is how you write 10 out of 10 character development. And if you guys want to see me react to this moment and all the other episodes in season 4, it's all on my Patreon.